So, obviously, we've been working on this documentary for like ever now.
Yeah.
Feels like forever.
And it's like
Christ.
it's like over, kind of. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like all things considered. Whether or not we want it to be or not.
We still shit the bed.
Could.
We totally still could.
Completely could. But yeah, so this was like entirely your brainchild, you know, however many months ago, you know. And that's actually like what I want to ask is like how long have you wanted to do this story? Where does your care for the story come from? That kind of thing. Like, why are we talking about women's basketball?
Well, I mean, I've wanted to do a documentary forever. Like, ever since I got here, I feel like the school just kind of hasn't cared about their media, and especially sports. Like, I mean, if you had been here my freshman year, my God. I mean, the graphics were bad. Everything was bad. You wouldn't see a video in sight, nothing. And I've always been a photographer, but I've always wanted to do film and video and stuff like that. And so when I got here, I was just like, well, you know, it's a perfect excuse to. I'm doing a digital media degree. Why not? And I always had backing from professors that always wanted to do that too. So I tried it a couple times with a few sports. I've done 2, but they've always been on my own because the school never gave me anyone that cared enough to try. So I did one on just basic sports, and then I did one on basketball. Not basketball. Oh God. Women's soccer. And I told you the story the other day, but like I made this documentary, and then I asked him to. He's like, "You can't put it out until I review it." And so I went, "Okay, we'll come and review it then." And he was like, "Oh, I can't this week." So I was like, "Okay, next week I can review it." "Oh, I can't right now." "Okay," and then he just stopped replying. So I just deleted it because I didn't want. Like it just kind of
bad omen.
Me. Exactly right.
Yeah.
And then the women's basketball team did unreal. And I lived through it. Like, so I kind of, the entire time was there. I was taking photos, or I was on the sidelines. I was watching every game. And I was so invested. The whole school was invested. And I'm really close with a girl on the team called Chloe, who you guys know. She's a big graphic designer, does a lot of work. She's incredible at her work. And I'm really close with her. So it just made sense. You know, like I finally had classes that would allow me to do this. And then while I was in there, I was still worried, like, oh, Christ, that's a big project to take on and do. Especially since, I mean, I'm not talking shade in anyone in the digital media department, but I've had a lot of experience in directing, creative media and all that stuff. And there's no one else in there that was anywhere as interested kind of in the things that I wanted to do. And then I remember sitting, because I was sat at the front right of the class, and then you guys were sat at the back left. And I remember, was it Scott or Sarah going around asking people questions?
I don't remember what class it was at the time. I don't remember what class it actually was in.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but as soon as you two spoke, I was like, oh my God, I actually think they know what they're fucking talking about. I was like, this might actually work. Like, because I was thinking, because he was talking about having groups, and I was like, who the hell am I going to be in a group with? Like, I don't know. And I've never met you guys before.
Yeah.
And I heard you guys speak, and I was like, well, yeah, that seems like it fits. That seems like it works. Even if, you know, again, because I didn't know you, even if you guys were crap, at least you were so interested that I feel like you'd actually put in some effort.
Yeah.
And so
that's exactly what happened. We suck at editing. Now we have a documentary.
But then I just approached you, and I approached both of you, and just like, hey, you guys want to work on this thing that I've had an idea for ages?
Yeah, that was the craziest thing, because we didn't know you. You didn't know us. You know, you'd never seen anything that we'd done. We'd never have worked with anybody like a director type thing. Like all the stuff that we've ever done has all been individual, or if we worked on things together, and it's kind of like we've both taken on the role of director, you know? So this is like the first time for us, you know? And you'd never seen anything that we'd made. And then it was like you put all of your trust like in us to tell the story, this documentary. And that was like the craziest thing, because I was like, this guy doesn't even know if I'm good at making videos or not. And then and so all is like said and done now, and like we've gone through like this process, and it's been like the coolest thing. So you have taken on the role of director, you know, and so I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about like all of the prep work that had to go into like this project, because that is the stuff that I don't like to do.
We both hate to do.
I hate like talking to people, you know, reaching out and asking questions, like trying to organize all these humans together in one place. That is not my forte, but that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
And so, like, just talk about that a little bit.
I think I'm good with people, and I think that's a big part of it. I understand people, and I know how to talk to people, and I know how to talk in general. And so I kind of get in the good graces with a lot of people, and I make sure that I do with sports teams, especially if I'm like, when I was trying to do this first documentary with all the sports, I wanted to have a role where everyone knew me. But I think it comes from I've done a lot of music videos in the past, and I've directed a lot of music videos. I don't particularly like videography. I don't like doing it. I like what comes out of it, but I don't like doing it. And so I've worked with a lot of people that have never, like you guys have never worked under direction and stuff like that, just by force, because there's no one else where I grew up that was doing that. So I've got a lot of experience in that department, in that kind of like working with people that don't particularly know what they're doing. I've done a lot of work with actors that have I say actors, extras, people in these music videos that have never acted a day in their lives. They're just friends of the artist and stuff like that. So organizing people's been pretty easy. It's tedious. It's a lot of working. There was so many emails sent. There was so many.
Yeah.
And I was like trying to get the women's basketball team to, with their busy schedule, pre-season schedule, get them all organized and together. And as much of it is preparation, and I've sat down and sent a load of emails, sent a load of texts. A lot of it was blind luck. Just luck that, this day arose where I was like, and then you just kind of have to be on the ball and ready to go. And I know that I'd text you in the morning and be like, hey, you guys ready to do an interview tonight?
Yeah.
Can you do one in like 3 hours?
Right. Or it's like we're shooting the entire media day tomorrow.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so, but it's things like that. And I know that if we can get it done earlier, we might as well. And so I take any opportunity that arises.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I said, I always try and create a personal relationship with people before I do any of that filming stuff. And then you've got to talk, you're talking about like, shot lists and all that stuff, and then equipment and all that, and storing and figuring out all the actual equipment and logistics and planning the entire documentary, which is really hard in documentary that you're doing hasn't happened yet, right? You don't know what's coming. And so planning that's difficult, but I think if you've got a personal relationship with the person you're doing it on, it's pretty easy if they just, they trust you and they
respond to text.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was lucky, like I said, I had Chloe, because Chloe was, my middleman. And I know that Chloe would reply to me because we're close friends, right? So, having her would made it a lot easier. But when I don't have someone like Chloe, when I'm directing projects back in England or whatever, that's a real pain in the ass. Especially because, like, I don't work for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And these things that people hire me to do, and people hire me as, like, I guess creative direction, I think, is my main thing I was ever hired for. When people hire me for that, they hire just me. It's not like I have an assistant or a team. They hire just me, and then it's my job to then try and find people to do these other little jobs. So I guess I've just got good at it over the years, and just planning and knowing what I can. This sounds really bad. Knowing what I can get away with.
Yeah. Well, it's a skill. It's a skill, especially in like what you just described, where it's like figuring out all of the things that you don't think about when it comes to like making a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't think about having to set up the interviews. You just assume that they're going to happen if you're somebody who's not like actually in the process. You know what I mean? And I mean, like, we can all attest to how much of like an ordeal it was to set up everything that we've actually had to physically go to and shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Staged events and not staged, but
yeah. I mean, we went to the NC State game, and I found out 2 days before that I could go.
Yeah.
Like, I was told at the beginning that this might be the thing, and then 2 days before he was like, no, I've got a seat for you on the bus.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh god, I had to cancel all my plans, and was like,
Yeah,
I've
right.
cancelled so many plans to get these interviews done and filming, and just when Trey, like, I was meant to be going out for dinner when Trey finally said, oh yeah, you can come get the footage now. And so I was like, okay, listen, I can't go get dinner, I got to go run and get this footage.
Yeah.
So it's fun. I actually enjoy it. Like, I know you said you guys don't enjoy it, but I kind of enjoy that part of it a lot more than actually just filming, which is weird. I like directing. I like watching people film and being on set, but I hate the actual filming.
I get it. Yeah, it can definitely be finicky. That was like the first thing that you ever said to us was like, you don't want to do any of the finicky stuff, which is fair enough. You know,
and I think that's why I don't particularly like editing.
Yeah.
I think I like having. It sounds really controlling though, and I feel guilty every now and then. That like I want to do the creative control and I want to do the directing, and as director, I guess I can do that. But then I have to send you guys off to do it, and that just feels like really bad. I can just picture you guys sitting in your room, like working on these things. But I don't like this edit, but I have to do it because Kane says to do it.
Yeah, see, no, I feel the complete opposite because I think at the beginning, before like I actually got into like the timeline, you know, and you're like thinking about all the outcomes that can happen with that edit, and you're like, man, I don't know how this, like I know how we want it to look, but I don't know how I'm gonna get there, you know. And then I think like what we both did was we just took our own editing styles to this project and then edited it the way that we thought that it should be done, and then like whenever we showed you our V1s, then it was like you were cool with that.
Yeah.
And I think that is kind of where like the turning point for me was whenever we showed like our V1s, because then it was like, all right, pressure's off now.
Yeah.
It was like okay, I know that my style is kind of what he's going for. You know, it's what you want, and so then it's like now I can just take this documentary the way that like I would edit it myself. You know, and then like
finesse.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was like at that point I didn't have to learn a new editing style, you know. And after I edited the first like section of my like half of the documentary, it was like, okay, now I don't have to go back and like change it all. Like I don't have to stylistically re-edit this portion of the documentary.
Yeah.
It's like we're good, you know. And I think that was kind of like the good part, because exactly what you wanted is exactly the way that I edit, you know, and the way that you wanted his section to be is the way that he edits, and so I think that it just worked out.
Yeah, I think you know, at the same time, we all have to remember that this is a school project,
right?
We all get equal credit for what we're doing here, and so I'm not gonna just take control of the entire thing. I mean, every time I do give a creative direction, I always say, are you cool with that? Like, what do you think? And I want your guys' opinion. It's not, and I always, no matter what shoot I work on, whoever I work with, I always want everyone's opinion, because I can't think of everything.
Right.
I mean, I have my ideas, and I like my ideas, and I guess I get paid for my ideas. But I mean, why? I have to be able to ask other people. You know, sometimes I get so blinkered in and like kind of honed in on this specific thing that I want, when actually there's a better idea out there that because I'm so focused on this, I won't ever have. And so someone else has it and brings it along, and I go, oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense. And so, yeah, I'm very open to those kind of things, but it's a little bit stressful. And then with, you know, we're lucky that it is a school project, because I promise you get into if this was a real shoot and we were being paid for our specific roles, I wouldn't probably be as like friendly as I am to everyone. I get a little bit like stressed on set. I start screaming at people. It's bad. But like with this, it's a school project. Yeah. If it funks up, it funks up. Not great. But it's nice that it's not. Yeah. And I think that I've learned a lot from this documentary and directing this documentary, in the sense of like, actually just have fun with it. I know like it's important and there's time limits, but we were sat around for ages.
Yeah, waiting for in between, to film stuff.
Just waiting. And then even when we did the interviews, right, like we had an hour each for each interviewee.
Yeah. And
they took like 25 minutes. Yeah. And that's 35 minutes we did nothing. And I could sit
basketball.
There. Do you know what I mean? We just went through, through basketball. I didn't play basketball. I just kind of lobbed this ball.
Kane is unbelievable at basketball. He was dunking from the 3-point line. He's gross. If you see him in real life, make him play basketball.
Please don't. Please don't. Never in my life. I actually don't think I've ever played basketball until I got here to America.
Really?
Yeah.
Not much of a common thing over there?
No, it's not something that like just kids play.
Yeah.
Like here, it's like, kids grow up and just play basketball, or they play football, or they play baseball.
Yeah.
It's not like that in England. Everyone plays football. Oh,
soccer.
Sure. And so everyone plays that, and then from there, if you hate soccer, you pick a different sport. And if you love it, then you just stick with it. And that's why we have so many soccer players.
Yeah.
That's what happened with me when I chose tennis. I grew up playing soccer and then veered off to tennis.
Interesting. Super interesting. So obviously we're like getting close to being done with this production process of this documentary. It's been a process. But what do you think has been like like highlight of the production process, like low light, like just kind of describe this entire production process. Like what's it looked like from your perspective?
I mean, the high is definitely the interview with the dinosaur.
Definitely. Definitely.
No, I actually think the high, it's also the high and the low of this documentary. I think the high was getting how good of interviews we got with the players. And I mean, even coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were unreal.
Unbelievable.
I mean, they were so good. The comments we got out of them, they seemed like trained media professionals.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
insane. And that's definitely my high. Like I never expected that. I thought we were gonna have to do a lot of hard work to try and get some good answers out of these people. But we didn't. I mean, it was so easy. We wrote the questions and
Pretty in like first draft questions.
I didn't have to change anything. I thought we were gonna have to reshoot a lot of the interviews or a couple of the interviews, and I mean, no, it was perfect. But then at the same time, that's my low because of the two cameras that sucked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like we used three identical cameras, set them up identically, same lighting, just from 3 different angles.
3 completely different images.
And all 3 came out completely different.
Yeah.
One, amazing.
So good.
Perfect. So good. Exactly what we're looking for. Then the one in the middle was like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
just slightly out of focus. And then the other one was just unusable.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
that's like, I had this vision of these switching cameras from A to B to C. But I guess not everything goes.
It ended up working pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed much else. I think it's kind of nice that it's just kind of stationary and kind of changes the flow. We've also got so many people in these same sections. And I think it works just cutting back and forth.
Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably say that's my...
Yeah, that was probably our only like big production mishap in the whole thing, honestly.
No, I don't think anything else has gone wrong other than just how bad those cameras were.
Yeah.
The camera thing, it blows my mind because in the little LCD screen on our cameras,
It was crispy.
it looks so good,
Mm-hmm.
exactly like what we wanted. Looks so good, and then you pull it out, completely not what we wanted. I mean, and they're all so different. Like from the main camera that we were planning on using, that ended up being the camera angle that we were going to use throughout the edit, to the wide shot. 2 completely different shots.
Mm-hmm.
And then from the main camera to the third angle, completely different. Like
Minecraft.
they're not even they're not even close to similar.
Not even
Like
close.
it's crazy because we use the same camera. Same camera, same settings,
At the same time,
same
same light.
It doesn't
I
make
just don't.
any sense.
I guess the only reason I'd say that the third camera, that that really side angle,
Yeah.
I think that it didn't work just because like in the other angle we had the basketballs
Mhm.
and they were lit up by
Yeah.
light.
Yeah, it was
There
too
was
much negative
nothing
space.
on it, so I think the negative space is
Yeah.
like if we had more negative space in the other one, I guess it would have done the same. But even the people were noisy,
Yeah.
and that's what
Yeah.
Was
blows
weird.
my mind.
Yeah, well, I think the problem was it wasn't dark enough. Like the negative space wasn't dark enough for it to actually
to just black out.
to just black out. The camera didn't know what to do with it.
Do you reckon we were using an ND filter?
No, I think that because
Because I know there's internal NDs on those cameras.
I think that the reason that it was weird was because that safety light was on in the very back corner.
Yeah, it's trying to expose for it.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Didn't we expose manually? No, we didn't.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
We
we
couldn't
did
in
full
there.
auto.
Couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah, just couldn't in there.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Oh.
But I mean, like now, the bigger production mishap for Caleb was no mic on the A cam.
Oh my God! Yeah, right.
Oh,
Sod's law.
Poor
Oh,
kid.
dude,
Poor
yeah,
guy.
So whoever made these Sony cameras that we were using chose not to put internal microphones in the cameras.
Which we did know about. to be
We
fair.
did. We knew about that. Why you would do that, I don't know, but we knew about it. So we have the audio, the lav mic, clip-on mic, going into the wide-angle camera. And then we have another shotgun mic sitting on the third-angle camera, and then the main camera angle, no mic.
Why didn't we put?
We
The
had
school's
one. We
mic.
had one. I don't know why we didn't. I don't know. We just weren't thinking about it,
Just
I
weren't thinking
guess.
about
And so the one camera angle that we ended up using, I could not sync to the
There was
audio.
definitely a time that I
because-
definitely said, "Nah, it doesn't need another mic."
Yeah, because
I definitely said that.
I don't
because
know.
whenever you throw it into your editing software, you sync it through the audio clips. I didn't have an audio clip, so I had to manually sync up all of the player interviews, 5 of them, manually
And it's
it took me longer to do that than it did to actually edit the interviews together.
and just like for extra context, it's 3 individual files at least.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's more than that
Oh, yeah.
per camera. So yeah, you had to manually
Which I also
sync all
don't
of them.
understand.
Neither do I.
Why they split every recording up into 3, I have no idea. And then you have to.
Put 'em
That's
together.
my gripe against Sony as well.
I don't know if
What's
it's a Sony.
ADVCHD, whatever that thing is.
I don't know, but I know that
What?
those files look crispy in Final Cut though. But I don't know if it's all Sony cameras or if it's just that camera. It might just be that camera, like
Yeah,
an older
that was the craziest
system.
thing.
And also, you got to think that those cameras, they are school cameras. They are not optimized setting wise at all. They are
Yeah,
out of
you're
the
right.
box. They're just how they,
Yeah.
they're doing whatever they think is the right move. So that's interesting to think about too. But another thing too that I think is worth saying is that maybe one of the best production sides that we had was the audio in all of these things.
God, the audio has been amazing.
Yeah,
because
that was something that I remember at the very beginning of this that you were like nervous about.
Oh, that
Um,
was the biggest thing I was scared about. I
Turn-
knew we could film a documentary, and
Yeah.
that's to me that's the easy part. Getting the footage is not difficult,
just time. Show up.
It's time,
shoot.
yeah.
Show up and shoot.
but audio.
Yeah.
I have no idea about audio.
Yeah.
I have no clue. But I think it's just because I'm not interested in audio.
Yeah.
Like I know it's important. I know I need audio. I'm just not interested enough in audio to make it work and to figure it out. But the audio from this has just been
Yeah. And easy.
so easy.
Yeah.
I have to get myself a little road mic
Yeah.
now. Not that I want to do any video. This
Yeah.
this is the thing. This is the problem with
Dude,
me and camera gear. man.
$50. $50 for
I
crispy
know.
audio.
Yeah, but that's $50, and then the ND filters are $50. The Pro Mist filters are $50.
Yeah.
But by the end of it, I've spent double what the camera was worth.
Yeah,
on
you
little
just
accessories.
you did just switch camera systems. So that
I did. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that for just now.
for now. Yeah. Yeah, but the audio has been unbelievable. The interviews are unbelievable. Even in the documentary stuff that I've been editing, the audio is unreal
Mm-hmm.
in all of it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was super easy, like with minimal I don't know if you've done any processing, but I haven't done much.
Mm-mm.
So,
No, super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can be happy with it.
Yeah.
I can the audio has been great. I mean, like I said, it's not much to say about
Yeah.
it. It's just
yeah. It's just we're like that.
perfect
I think
fit.
that's one of the things too that we're like it makes everything so much easier,
Yeah.
Like
I think partly I was scared because we have no budget.
yeah.
It's not like we have like a couple of $100 and whatever. We have zero budget, no money to work this out. And so filming an interview on a college campus, I'm terrified of AC.
Yeah, because
Because it's everywhere, man.
Yeah, but you have PTSD for that too, right? In one of the subjects
Yeah.
you've worked on,
Yeah, and you think when you've got headphones on you can't hear it and whatever, and you get to the final recording and it's in the background.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like for real.
That's genuinely what it sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
And then you've just got little whispers in the background.
Yeah.
And that's so yeah, that was my biggest fear, that was going to be a problem. But when I tell you, you can't. And then even the funny thing is like even in the interviews in the gym
Mm-hmm.
that we did, you can still hear it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't want music over those, and so I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It makes it seem a little bit more raw, and
Yeah.
kind of just makes it seem a little bit like
More real.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I actually kind of like it. I don't mind. I've kind of accepted that.
Yeah.
But I think with directing, I think I've accepted a lot less of a clean approach and like a perfect approach.
Yeah.
I used to just be like, well, it has to be perfect. Everything has to be perfect
Mm.
and so crisp and so clean. I think nowadays, because technology and equipment's getting so much better, everyone's achieving that.
Yeah. Crispy's not that hard.
It's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not that difficult anymore. Especially since, like you said, a $50 audio mic
Yeah.
or a Rode mic
Yeah.
can do the job of what 10 years ago you'd spend thousands on getting.
Yeah.
And now, and then you spend thousands now. It sounds like you're in a sound booth.
Yeah.
So, I watch a lot of YouTube and I learn a lot from other creators and people that are way better than I am. But I learn from them, and you learn from people like Casey Neistat, and who doesn't learn from Casey Neistat, right? So raw and uncut that it's
Yeah.
just like, well,
Yeah. You can
everyone
create-
loves his
Creator style.
everyone loves his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I'm copying.
Mm.
That's
there's
never the
influence.
intention.
I will admit to that.
But there has to be an influence from other people,
The
right?
way that I edit is very similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there has to be an influence from other people. There, like, when it comes to directing, especially, you know, you go ask Scorsese or these people. I mean, maybe not Tarantino, because who the hell directs like Tarantino? But you go ask these people, and they all will take influence from other people. Now, again, I'm not saying I'm anywhere on the caliber of them to be saying that, but like, yeah, I think especially when you're learning, and I am learning. I'm still learning. I'm by no means. I've worked on professional shoots, but I would no means call myself a professional director.
Right.
I think I have to keep learning and accept that it's never going to go perfectly, and accept that all these videos and documentaries and films that I ever want to do, 90% of them are going to be dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. Because when you get that one here, which is what we've done, like, you know, those documentaries that I tried to do previous to this one, failed completely, miserably. My women's soccer documentary, I did that by myself, and it was okay, but it wasn't like, it was good, but like, it wasn't anywhere near perfect. And then that went to nothing. And I think it's all been worth it now to finally have a documentary.
Because you've had 2 tries before.
Yeah, and I'm proud of. And I don't need to come out of college with 4 Oscar winning.
Right.
Oh yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like 4 decent, okay.
Yeah, it's better that you have one good.
One unreal documentary that I did in college with a couple of mates.
Yeah.
That looks way better on your resume.
Totally. And it's a cool project.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, people keep going on about this resume thing, right? And it's like, and Scott and Sarah have mentioned it to me before. It's like, it's going to look good on your resume. It's like, but if I did 5 of them, who the hell is going to sit there and watch 5 of my documentaries?
Nobody. I don't, honestly,
my resume.
I was thinking about that too. Like, who's watching our 30-minute documentary as a portfolio piece? Nobody's watching the whole thing.
You say that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I bet they watch it.
I reckon 1. I reckon if you put 1 on there, they
maybe
would. But if you put
30 minutes is a lot
4.
of somebody's time, though. You know what I mean? 30 minutes is a lot of somebody's time.
Yeah, but that's why you have to draw them in with other things. You draw them in with the short content.
Yeah, you're right.
So then they watch. And then at that point, they're like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm going to pick this guy, but let me watch this just in case. And that kind of secures it.
Right, then you knock their socks off.
Yeah. And that's I learned that from, I mean, you guys have seen my photography portfolio.
Yeah.
It's like you have this quick look thing, and that's always the first thing people look at is just kind of, oh yeah, these are really interesting pieces. And then that leads you on to the other stuff that's a bit more hard hitting. And that's why I never put my music videos on the front page of my portfolio. I think I was told early that you have to hook people in, and you've already got, if they turn the page and they start looking deeper into your content, you've already got them. You're like, if they're looking to employ you and they're doing that, you're pretty much, they want you, at least they're interested in you, and it's between you and 2 other people. But what keeps you, and he said, you know, it's important, is what keeps you is that deeper stuff. And that's where I think the documentary fits into a resume, is that like you draw them in with short content and short form content, and they like, oh, I like this guy, this guy's good. Yeah, I kind of want him. And then I think what the documentary does is get them to talk about you to other people. It's like, look at this documentary, this guy's really good. And that kind of just cements that, okay, this guy hasn't even worked for me, but he's good. And that's what happened with your favorite photo of mine.
Yeah.
Is that it's nowhere near my quick look thing. And then he starts scrolling through my stuff, and it's like, I like that one. Yeah. And that's what you tell people about. And
now it's his locked screen.
It is.
Yeah. I tell you what, that's like one of the biggest achievements of my photography. I've been published a few times, but that one's quite
something.
Love the photo. It's great.
Love the photo. That's so awesome.
Oh,
go ahead. That was unreal, though.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Yeah, so I think like we're coming down to the end of this podcast here with you. Thanks for coming on. By the way, we've been wanting to do this for a long time. So it's been nice to just sit down and talk about this and the project and stuff. But just like how do you feel about like the piece in general?
I tell you what, I'll be completely honest, 100% honest. And you're like you might not like the first half, but you might like the second half. When I saw the V1s, I had no idea in the direction it was going. I was just like, no one's done a bad job. I didn't look at you guys and go, fuck me, that shit. But I couldn't see it.
Sure.
Right? Because, I mean, I guess because it was so rough and raw, and I mean, we hadn't even began to say it was anywhere near done. But I was a bit like, I don't know where this is going. I can see the talent and I can see the energy that this could give, but I have no idea how it's going to turn out. And then when you brought in your V2s,
it made sense.
It just made sense, and it was like, oh my god, I can completely see where this is going. I can now see it, and I am so excited. So it's been very difficult. It's my last semester of college, which I'm so thankful I got to spend it this way, doing an actual creative project I wanted to do finally, and having no classes whatsoever in doing so. That all my classes are this documentary.
Yeah.
So I'm extremely happy, and I think at this point I know we've done some good work, and so I'm not nervous anymore. I'm still a little bit nervous, but like I'm not.
You always will be.
Yeah, I think even if I think it's the best piece ever and the best documentary ever made, you know, I might show it to other people and they go, "What the f- is this?"
Yeah, somebody will watch it and hate it.
Yeah,
you have to just be okay with that.
Exactly. And so I think that, you know, for me, it's made me proud. I hope it's made you guys proud.
100%.
So I think, yeah, I'm proud. I'm not nervous. Well, I'm not too nervous. I'm just really excited for it to be done.
Me too.
I'm really excited to be able to go, hey, look at this piece I made, and show people.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be that really annoying guy that's like going to like meetups with my friends at their place, and they'd be like, hey, can you watch this video I just made?
30 minutes.
I mean, it's just really short. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
Don't worry.
You have a couple beers and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. I think what I'm most excited for the rest of this process is showing it off. That's the best. That's the best thing, I think, is like the dream would be to get true feedback on it. I don't know if we'll get that, but I would love to get like true feedback on like this could be improved and that kind of thing.
Yeah,
I just think that's super valuable as a creator, but also I want to show it to people and then their jaws be on the floor.
No,
So
exactly.
I want both of that. Almost.
No, we'll get the feedback. 100% we'll get the feedback. I know people that I'll show. I know other creatives and stuff that we can show.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely show them 100% and get feedback because, like I said, never want to stop learning.
Yeah.
And if this is my best piece so far, it's the first documentary that I'll ever like completely 100% finish. Just because I've never worked with anyone on a documentary. So I guess it has to be my best piece. But, you know, if it is, I know that there's always room. There'll always be a better one.
Totally.
If I put my mind to it, I can always make a better one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just about finding a team. I know I'm moving back to England, but it's about finding a team. I'd love to continue working with you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and
the internet now, I guess we can.
Exactly, and like collaborative, even if it's not, I think that what's most valuable too is just talking to other creative people. Because as somebody who has made videos for their life mostly with myself or with one other human being, it's like I can easily get stuck into my system, you know what I mean, and how I make videos, and there's no like necessarily challenge there forcing me to get better, like or forcing me to look at projects from a different perspective. And just like throwing your video into a Slack channel and then everybody being like, cut this a little shorter, or this is awesome, but change the song, or some stuff like that. Like that is valuable because sometimes I'm like running through an edit and I'm not even thinking, oh, this song sucks. Yeah, you're right. This song does suck. Let's fix this song. Just as an example. And that is super valuable. Even if you're working by yourself, just like having that communication, I think as creatives is so important.
For sure. I mean, my, like on that, my stepdad, National Geographic photographer, he's actually votes open for People's Choice Award, and he's in that. So if anyone sees this, please go for him. His name's Nima Sarakani. He's brilliant, an amazing photographer, but he's always asking me. This was before I was even anywhere good or any good kind of photographer. He was always asking me like, "What do you think of this edit? Or can you have a play around with this edit and like on Lightroom and stuff?" It's just to get that other's perspective. I think it's so important is to just let other people and not be offended.
Yeah, that's the key. Yeah, take criticism good.
I see it on Instagram all the time. You see these people post these photos, and someone comes on and it's like, "Oh, I like this. This is really good, but have you tried this? Have you tried trying this slider or this whatever?" And they go, "Oh, the hate."
They get defensive right away.
What do you mean the hate?
Yeah.
Like,
those people aren't artists.
No. Well, I mean,
they're not though because they're not taking feedback.
No. I just think it's just like I think some people, they are so set into their ways, like you said, that if anyone challenges that, it's like, well, that is my way. This is how I do it. And then it's like, well,
that works if you're Tarantino.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you are the best at your
there's
craft.
very few people ever that can do that.
Yeah. And you're talking about Instagram people, or people on Instagram who have got like 20 followers.
Yeah.
They're posting, this is my way, I'm perfect. This is great. This is the best photography on Instagram. And it's like, I'm not saying it's not. There are plenty of creators. I mean, I don't have a massive following on photography. I also don't care enough to try. But it's, I see these people post this and get hate and get mad about it. And it's like, well, how are you going to learn?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly what you're doing isn't working. If what you're trying to go for is Instagram fame.
Yeah.
And then you don't listen to the people on Instagram.
It's a bold strategy.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Right? And you're going into a very competitive field.
Yeah, the most.
Yeah.
That if you don't learn from the people who are the best at it, and I mean, Instagram photography is so many different skills to that. So you got to learn the algorithms and
you got to learn social first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm not bothered. I guess I got off track, but I just think you have to be very open. And I think we have been very open in this documentary.
Totally.
I think we have been.
Totally. Yeah, well, I mean, like the way that we thought, I mean, the first ever version of this that we wrote out in a story chart is not what we have in a timeline right now at all.
No.
I mean, it isn't even in the same, universe. You know what I mean? It's a different piece completely. But, I mean, I think that we roll with the punches.
Yeah, you adapt. That's the biggest thing.
And
we've done really well.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it. You know, it's not like we don't speak. It's not like we edited our V1s without any conversation before that and came in with a project and showed them and then just left and didn't speak again and brought in a V2. That's not how it works. No. Not at least in our case. Maybe that works for some people, but I can't imagine it would. I mean,
I think the craziest thing is that whenever we've started this project, me and Austin are not super project dudes. I'm not a fan really of a work on this one thing all semester, and then at the end it'll be done and you'll have one thing to show for a whole semester's work. I'm usually not that guy.
Oh God, you're in for a shock in the professional space.
But so whenever we got this project idea, and you brought it to us, we were like after this we're not doing it. Senior year, we're not doing super projects. But then it's at the end of this, we were talking about on the last podcast.
I'd do it again tomorrow.
It was after this is all said and done, it's I want to run it back. I want to do it again, and I want to do it again, and I want to do it again because it was so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some projects in England that I've got planned for myself. I'd love you guys to be involved. I know you're
hit us up
3,500 miles away, but with OneDrive and WeTransfer and all that stuff, I'm sure we can make it work.
Yeah, we can.
We definitely make it work.
No, there's some big projects I want to do. That would obviously.
Or you could just fly us out.
Good. When the budget grows.
Yeah, when the budget grows. Okay.
When the budget grows.
Because I'm still working on a zero budget here. I got one camera.
When the budget grows.
No microphone.
No
right
mic.
now,
No mic. No cage. Only 35 millimeters.
It's a cage, bro. No flip out screen. Nothing. It's does 6K though.
Does it have HDMI?
It does.
Full size HDMI?
Don't quote me on that. Oh no.
Mini HDMI?
Yeah.
So he's gonna need 7 cables because those always break. Yeah. Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
I just want to do photography, man. I don't want to do the video, but I know I need to do the video, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed making this video.
I loved it.
And I hope that the video, because exactly how we've done this is the video process. Come up with an idea, shoot it, and then edit it.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
I hope that, because you're not normally, I don't know the answer to that question, but you were behind a camera a lot in this process. I mean, you shot a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Do you did you go in knowing that you liked that, or you don't really like that, or were you surprised about how fun it was, or?
Well, I said earlier that I don't enjoy videography,
yeah.
But I think knowing that I had to, it means I just don't hate it. It's I know the outcome's coming. I know what I need is in this, and it's not that I sit there and I despise videography and I'm crying as I'm doing it and wiping tears off the LCD. But
don't let him lie to you guys. He was crying the whole time.
But I think that it's not it's not. It was fine. Yeah, it was enjoyable. The experience, what it allowed me to do, the fact that I got to go sit courtside at the NC State game, and sit on the floor and all that stuff. That's awesome.
Yeah, the fact that we truly did get full access on this
Absolute
project
full access
is unbelievable.
Yeah. And we could have done so much more. I just don't think we had the time to do so much more. I mean, Christ, if I'd given you guys any more footage, we would have been... I'd have to come back for another semester.
We would have had to cut more.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we would sort of had more of our 130 gigabyte backup.
Yeah,
in the
but
trash.
like I said, I think we got everything we wanted.
Totally.
I got everything I wanted.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
that I filmed a lot. And yeah, I guess I enjoyed it. I
Mhm.
guess in the long term, I enjoyed it. If
Reluctantly.
you'd given me a better camera, I probably enjoyed it a little
Yeah,
bit more.
You
but
definitely would have.
but I think it was okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, but I've no the entire project I've really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Had a great time. It's the most fun academic semester I've ever had. So
Oh,
Yeah.
let's go.
yeah, so really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah, well, I think that is this podcast as far as talking about the documentary. Yeah,
Well, thank you for having me on.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Thanks to Catawba Women's Basketball for letting
Yeah.
us shoot this documentary.
Yeah, could not be done without them.
yeah,
I mean,
full-
even the school.
Yeah, even the school. Yeah, the whole process has been.
Start listing off everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
if you
you,
want
it is.
if you want full credit, if you want to see your name on the credits, you're gonna have to watch the movie because I don't think we have that even written out yet. So yeah,
Saying enough the last 2 weeks, I need to write that.
Yeah, that's a good
I
call.
do.
But yeah, seriously, thanks to you, thanks to the basketball team, thanks to everybody that's been a part of this documentary process, and hopefully that if you're listening to this, you're somebody that's gonna get to see it one day. Just ask. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks for coming on.
Cool. Thank
We
you.
will push this red button and then push it again and talk about photography.
Cool.
Cool.